Good afternoon, adventurers. That's right. It is Friday. And Friday means John's Dungeon Corner right here at the Collective in Altamont Springs, Florida. Woo! Where it's a sunny 84 degrees. I know the rest of the nation's going, what? That's right. 84 degrees in February. You can't beat that. So, what are we going to talk about? We'll talk about Dungeons and Dragons. That's what it's all about. So, okay. We are talking about players, the players and their player characters, right? The PCs. That's what's important. So here we go. Let's talk about some new things first, though. Woo-hoo-hoo. We got some good stuff. So, you know, Dragonlance came out with their book and everything, and they have come out with this brick that's amazing. Check this out. You know, I love me some miniatures. So here we go. This is the brick, the Dragonlance brick. Okay. Comes with a nice big box and then 6 boosters. All right. It looks like there's a Bahir, a Treant Noble in here that can come out of here. Just some amazing stuff, all right? The brick is right here. Really nice, looking good. And I, of course, you know how I am. What am I going to do? What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to open one up. Of course I am. You know me. But first, check this out also. Icons of the Realms, the Draconian Band. Oh, my gosh. If you've ever wanted dragons or dragon folk or dragonborn, there go 7 of them under one box set. Look at that. The Draconian Warband. Really nice. Check it out. Fully painted. Ready to go. Nice, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, I'll be getting one of those. But okay, so look here. Let's do this real quick, right? Let's open this up because, well, we got to. Let's open up one of these real quick and see what's going on, right? Because, yeah, that's what we do. Oh, my gosh. Got to get my computer set right. There we go. Now it's off of everything. Here we go. All right, so let's open this guy up. See what's going on. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay. Bam. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, as a main thing. Oh, wow. What do we got here? We got some kind of cool-looking ogre, it looks like. Let's put these guys in here. You guys come with it. What is this guy? Oh, look at this. This looks really cool. Looks like it is. It's like an ogre or an orog with a big warhammer. Look at that bad boy. A good old big old war club, war club. And believe it or not, he's got a barrel of fish right there, a barrel of fish, and he's eating a fish. So don't interrupt this meal. You might get swatted by a, hey, Sarah, happy Friday. Welcome to the show. Just opened up one of the new Dragonlance box booster boxes and got this cool looking ogre, maybe a giant or maybe an orog with a war club and eating out of a fish of barrels. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's so cool. Okay, so let's put him back in here, right? Okay, so let's see what else we got with him. Because, you know, you get 4 miniatures in here. Good stuff. Let's see what we got in here, huh? Okay. Some kind of insect thing with arms, hooks for arms. I'm not sure. Might be something else, but it looks pretty neat. All right. He looks cool. Let's see what else we got in here. All right. All right. Oh, wow. Looks like an elven or half-elven warrior. Nice shield. Okay. Very cool. Big. So there goes a player character, a monster. And let's see what the last one turns out to be. Hey, Antonio. Oh, you're watching on the big TV. Oh, look at that. In a half-elven warrior spellcaster, probably, it looks like. Because it looks like he's either pointing or throwing a spell. So that's really neat. So there we go. 4 miniatures. I thought you missed it. Check this out. He's either an ogre, an orog, or one big orc. Oh, let's see if I can get him focused in. And he's got a big armed, what is that? War club and a barrel with fish. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So that's what came in there in this one. All right, so those are good. They're rocking and rolling and ready to sell there. All right. So don't miss out because you know limited numbers. So come and get your booster. I like the brick. I like the way this brick is set up. It has one big, it's kind of like the one with the dragons. It had a nice kind had a nice big box that has the big miniature in it, and it's got 6 more boxes. So it's really nice. I like the way that's set up nowadays. All right, that one's mine. I'm going to take that one home. Also oh my gosh, wait till you see this. This is so cool. Now, remember last week I opened up a small spell book. Okay, so then they came out with this one, and I know Antonio's going to love this one. This is a mimic, and you can pretty much put your cards in it. Look at this. Look at that. Cool, right? That's really neat. So, what's the warband? Well, the warband is a draconic warband. Nothing but dragons. 7 of them. Dragonborns. Here they are in full. That's what they look like. Really neat. Really neat. Okay, now, that's the warband. And then, of course, that's really neat that this came in, the card holder there. And Foam Brain Games has sent a bunch of really good-looking dice. A new batch. You know, you can't help but admire them. They're really nice. The swirled, multicolored, the glittering pink. This is a set that I'm going to get. I got to show these off because I'm going to end up getting them to Dungeon Master with. Just because, I mean, you can never have enough dice. That's what I say. Look at these. Now, they all look like black, but they actually got different colors in them. You just got to catch them in the light, and they glimmer. They got like the shimmery effect. Yeah. Well, if you come and play at the collective, I'll show them to you. There's another set out there, I think, but I'll show you these. All right, but I'm going to get me a pair of these. These I think I'm going to end up getting. Yes, I am. All right, so today's show, let's talk about a few things. So far, we've been talking about player characters. The first week, I kind of went over like an overview, right? It was and so on. But now, last week, we kind of went forward. We kind of went forward, right? And we talked about how to create a character. I even created one. You vanished, and here I am. Ta-da! It's magic. I'm telling you. Dungeons & Dragons magic. So we kind of talked about it. I put together a character in like less than an hour from beginning to end. So then I got a bunch of questions. I've been asking a lot of questions since then. I was like, okay. Let's see. How do we answer them? Best way to answer all those questions. Now, I'm going to tell you that today's show is going to be a little shorter. I need to be done by 1:30. There's a special event happening here with us. Just a special event for Dungeons & Dragons. It's a Dungeons & Dragons related. Oh, talk about Dungeons & Dragons. So I got some great news. All right. The theater at the Riverwalk up here at Cimarron Boulevard and out there towards I'm not sure what the crossroad is, but it's up if you're headed towards the Popcom on the right, there's a theater, the Riverwalk. It's got a theater. They're going to be showing the Dungeons & Dragons movie starting on the 31st. And I have been invited and accepted to go and run 2 Dungeons & Dragons games between the 2 premieres, the 6 o'clock and the 8 o'clock showing of Dungeons & Dragons. So if you want to come by and you watch the movie, come by and play. I'm going to be running a game for probably about 10, 12 players. Maybe it's few as 6, maybe it's 12, who knows? I'll be ready though. Pre-made characters, we're going to sit down, we're going to run a one-shot, have some fun with it, and then move on because the next movie will be starting. All right? So you can come before, after. If you're at the movies, come and see me. At least say hi. Introduce yourself, and I'll see you there. Anyway, that was my quick little blurb about being there at the show, at the theater. Now, so to the meat and drink of things, right? To the meat and potatoes, as I like to say it. What I'm going to say is this. Okay, so, hey, Willie, welcome to the show. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You guys saw me with my brother Willie create a character last Thursday. Okay, on that show, and if you saw it afterwards, that's fine. What I'm going to tell you is that I had a preconceived notion of what I wanted, all right? I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to build because I needed to. I needed to do it quick and efficiently. Now, there was still a little bit of work that had to be done afterwards. That's okay. A lot of people were asking me, well, aren't there other classes? Aren't there other races, other backgrounds? I mean, you threw so much stuff at us. Isn't there more than just what's in the player's handbook? Because I've heard my friends and okay, and that's all great. Yes, there is. And I think I mentioned that there's a lot of other information that you can get from other books, backgrounds, character classes, character races. But, and here's my big but, and it's a big one. It's big. you need to learn the mechanics of the game before you get into all that other advanced stuff, because now you're bringing in other books that might have rules, different rules in that. You might, like with some of the character classes, you're going to get claw attacks, which are a little different, even than the monk attacks. You have flying and such things. So let's stick to the basics. I'm telling you, stick into what is in this book, and you'll be all right. Now, talking about mechanics, at my last game last week, not this week, the week prior, we talked about the mechanics of the game, right? So here's my player character, my 9th level. Doesn't matter, 1st level, 9th level, the mechanics are all the same. So on my character sheet, we talked about the important things, right? We talked about the armor class, the hit points, our stats, what those stats are used for, and where they go to help out with our skills. We talked about our skill sets. We talked about our background, and how that gave us more skills or languages or something, tool use, that kind of thing. So now, every adventure, and I'm just going to kind of go over this because these are the mechanics that we need. I'm not going to pour out my dice today, but I have lots of dice. They're all purple in there. So the first thing that we're going to do when we come into combat, or prepare for combat, is there's a roll, an initiative roll. And sometimes there may be skill rolls before then. So I'm listening at the door. Do I see anything down the hallway? Do I notice anything particular going down the hallway? It just seems off. I'm looking for traps. All those are skill rolls, all right? So we're going to use perception, right? We just used the D20. The D20 is going to be your friend. And that's why I told you want multiples of the D20, all right? Whether it's you got an advantage and you're rolling with 2 dice, disadvantage, you're rolling with 2 dice, taking the lower, advantage, you're rolling, taking the higher one, or just because, golly, my 1 die isn't rolling well, let's use my other die. Nothing wrong with that, all right? So let's roll initiative. Let's roll for perception. So my character's going down the hallway, and I just don't feel right. We've been traveling for a little. I'm just like, there's something not right. I'm going to look for a secret door. I'm going to look for a trap. I'm going to look for traps. All right, so here we go. I roll. Okay, I rolled a 16. Now, granted, remember, this character is a little bit higher. But with my perception, let's use a normal perception because he had a +3 and a +2, so I get a +5 to 16. So I have a 21. Okay. Now, depending on what the difficulty level, that number that the dungeon master gave to that particular roll to find a trap, he'll say, okay, you succeeded or you didn't. And if I did succeed, he'll tell me this is what you see. It looks like one of the cobblestones in the floor is a little looser. It seems to be up a little higher than the others. You almost tripped on it, but you caught it and since you were looking for it, you found it. I go, okay. So he says, it seems to be some kind of pressure plate that would trigger a trap. Okay, so I'm going to inspect it. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different. Now I'm going to do my investigation roll because I want to see how this trap works, right? Okay, so here we go. Okay, I rolled a 14, probably like a 16, 17. Let's just give it like let's see, 3 + 2 is 19. All right, so I rolled a 19. All right. He says, okay, well, basically the way it works is it is a pressure plate. You step down on it, and it releases an arrow trap that's down at the end of the hallway. It seems like it's something that triggers, okay, that's kind of like what you feel it's going to work like. Or it may release something from the ceiling. You're not quite sure, but it is a pressure plate, and it opens up something. Okay, so now he gives me a couple ideas. I've got an idea. Okay, so now I can do one or two things. I can either tell everybody, hey, look, I can mark it with chalk and not use a lot of pressure. I can sprinkle some dust on it, whatever I do to mark it. Or I can disable the trap. All right, so I'm going to disable the traps. I got my thieves' tools and I have expertise in it. So that's going to give me twice my proficiency. Now I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you really quick, but I'm kind of taking you through one little situation in Dungeons and Dragons. All right, I'm going to roll, and I'm going to add +4 instead of +2. And then I have a +4 because of my dexterity. So I have a +8 total that I'm going to add to this die. So you see how building the character to fit your class really works out well, right? So here we go. Okay, so I rolled again a 16 +8. Now it's a 24. And even if you set it at difficult, so the difficulty levels are usually 10, 15, 20, 25. And as it goes up, it gets harder and harder, obviously, as you can tell. So I rolled a 24 with this roll, he says, wow, you know what? Dungeon Master later says, you pass, okay, you disable it, you figure it out, you take it and you cut the line or you pull the plate up, however he describes it. Okay, you take the stone and you're able to remove it while cutting the wire underneath that would trip the trap. So you cut either wire or you take it off in such a way that the pressure plate itself doesn't trigger the. All right, however, okay, the trap may be set. Boom, I'm done. It's gone. It's disabled. Now, here's a little clue, a hint for you guys, for all you would be. If it's able to, I disassemble it and take it with me, the pressure plate. Okay, because that's a nice thing to have. Put the stone back, well, however that works. Okay, now we're going down the hallway. So far I've made three skill checks with my skills, right? Perception, investigation, and disable sleight of hand. It's all disabling the trap, unlocking a locked door is all under sleight of hand. So all that happened. Boom, 3 skill checks already. So we continue down the hall. All right. Since the trap didn't go off and it didn't alert them, the little goblins that are around in the guardhouse don't know we're coming. So we're sneaking. Okay, now I'm rolling to sneak. All right. So I roll. I have my dexterity. I have my proficiency and end up with like a 14, 15. Is it enough? I don't know. So we come around the corner and now we're not surprised. They're not surprised because they kind of knew we were coming and we kind of heard the voices. Okay, because that's why we knew the goblins were there. So now we roll a normal initiative. All right, so boom, normal initiative. I roll a 10. My dexterity is 4. 14. I have a 14 initiative. That's my number. Now other people will roll the other numbers. Let's see. So someone else in our party rolled a natural 20. Wow, look at that. Okay, and then another person rolled a 9. And they're going to be like a +3, so they're at 12. So all these numbers, the Dungeon Master will sit there and put them down, and then we'll start announcing, okay, now the natural 20 will normally go first. Right? That's a rule that I have. 20s, regardless of what their dexterity is or anything else, always get to go first. If a monster ties with them at a natural 20, the players always get to act first. I give them that courtesy. It's not a rule. It's not anything more than I like to allow the characters to act first in the initiative. That's it. That's all it is. All right. It's not some hard rule. I think it's a nice rule. It's a courtesy. All right. So we could compare now. If two characters tie, sometimes they'll sit there and go, okay, you go first. I'll go after you. Or they'll say, well, my dexterity is a +3. What's yours? Mine's a +2. Okay, well, I'll go first. However, you could do it that way. If you tie with a monster, also you can just let whichever one is faster go first. But I let the player. So the player goes first. All right. Now they're going to roll to hit. Okay. So they rolled 20. Okay. They had their proficiency, which is +2, and let's say they're using a sword and shield. So using a sword, it gets a strength modifier. Let's say it's a +4 because they're a great fighter. So they're at a 13, 15, 19 to hit. That means that if the creature's armor class is 19 or less, you match it or beat it, you hit. All right, so he hit. Now he's going to roll his damage, and he's using a D8 because he's using the long sword one-handed. All right, long sword is a unique weapon that it's called versatile. The skill is called versatile. If you use it one-handed, it does a D8. If you use it two-handed, it does a D10. So he's using it one-handed. Boom. Okay, roll a 7 plus the 4. 11 proficiency. All right, so there we go. All right, right. So there we have it. They do their damage. They kill the goblin. I'm not going to get into all that because I'm kind of just the idea is the mechanics. I know the mechanics are what are important here, and this is what I want to get across. The damage, how much damage they do, don't do, is immaterial. It will be in the game, but right now, for the sake of this, I want you to understand that there's an initiative roll. Okay, once the initiative is established, which is the order of all the combatants that are going to be in the part in the fight, in the battle, in the melee, all right, is established, then we start going, okay, number 1. So that was the fighter. Now, let's say a creature's next. It will do the same thing. It'll roll a d20 to attack. And then if it hits, it doesn't hit, it would roll damage. Okay. There are bonus actions that you can take, such as attacking with a second weapon, which would not get the bonus for your strength to it. So it'd just be a die roll. So if, let's say they had 2 daggers, it would attack with the first dagger, then a second dagger. All right. You can, like I said, there's a list of a lot of bonus things, bonus actions that you can take, but we're not going to get into them. Just know that it's there. Something else that you can do. Movement. Now, at this point, our fighter, when they came around the corner, saw each other, but now our rogue has to move. Okay? Our rogue's going to move. Going to sneak past this initial guard, get behind him. It's going to enter his threat range, go around him, and attack him from behind. So now we have a thing called attack of opportunity, which will not happen because that's the first thing you look for. Did I leave the threat range of the creature? No, I just basically stayed in it and went around to his rear. Or I might have just been around able to skirt. Without miniatures, it's hard to see. But now we have the rogue on one side, the monster between it and the fighter. So because of that, the rogue is going to get advantage, which means it's going to roll those 2 dice that we keep talking about, right? So here we go. We're going to roll, and because we have advantage, we're going to actually use the higher of the 2. All right, so I roll. I have a 6 and a 14, so I'm going to use the 14. All right, 4 plus 4 for dexterity, plus 2, so this 14 becomes a 20. I hit. So now I'm going to do my damage. All right, rogue has a special ability called back attack. So I do a d6 for my short sword, and I do a d6 because of my back attack. All right, so I roll a 7 plus whatever the damage may be, depending on his dex and that, and there we go. All right, so 2 dice. But what I really want to show there was the advantage. Having advantage, that gives you the 2d20s to hit. Then the damage is all going to be according to what he could have been using daggers, short sword, whatever it may be. All right, it's the advantage that was important. So there's a lot of things in the mechanics that you have to learn that will help your character, that will make it easier for you to do more damage, that will help you hit easier. With spells and that, depending on your spell class, you'll be able to cast a spell. There are bonus spells that you can cast as a bonus action. Okay, so you could basically attack and then cast it. Like, for instance, healing word. Let's say that your cleric is a war domain cleric, so they're going to go up there, boop, 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 they attack, boom. Oh my gosh, this guy's my fighter has been hurt, so I'm going to cast as a bonus action. I'm going to cast healing word on him and heal him. Remember, that's that range spell. It's a bonus action. Thank goodness. It's one of the very few bonus actions that heal, short of drinking a potion or something. Like I said, the show today was going to be short. It's going to be short. All right, take care. So that's where we're at. I want to go through the mechanics and the initiative. Once that situation is going to continue on, that initiative will not change. The first person will all goes first, and once it gets to the bottom, it'll go back to the top of the initiative, and everybody will get to go until the battle's over, one way or the other. The player characters defeat the creatures, or the monsters defeat the player characters, as the case may be. All right, that leads to a whole different thing, but that is essentially the mechanics at first. Now, there are more mechanics. All right, there are a lot more mechanics that take part in this, but I wanted to give you at least the basics today. Wanted to talk about all the new things that came in. Of course, miniatures are great. That's my miniature for that particular character that we're talking about. Of course, nice big bag of dice, but I always recommend you don't need a lot of dice at first. That will come because you'll keep seeing dice that you got to have, and then you end up like this. And remember, most important rule about dice is you can never have enough dice. That's very important. Dice trays don't have to be super fancy. Don't even have to have one. You can get a tower instead. You can just roll on wood. I like them because it keeps them from falling off the table. And if I roll a 20 on the floor, it doesn't count, and I got to re-roll it, and that's no fun. I want my 20. So I roll in my dice tray, my lucky dice tray here, and it rolls me a lot of 20s, and I'm happy about that, okay? A couple of other things is the character folio. I can't say enough wonderful things about it. Like I said, as you can see, mine has my spell cards in it with it has all their description. It has my magical items with all their descriptions in it. So I don't have to go looking through a book. I don't have to memorize anything. I don't have to search it through my phone. my character, I want to be able to react to anything that happens quickly. So I have all my spells. I have everything right there in front of me. I don't have to go flipping through the explanations of things, and I have it all on my character sheet. That's why my character sheet's, it's typed up. And then if anything, I get a note. If I don't understand some of my abilities, I can type them up, print them out, put them in my folio. And it's right there. Okay, what does that do? Oh, okay, great. All right. I know with the technology, and I keep saying this, technology is a wonderful thing when it works. But there's nothing that beats a folio where I can just, no matter what, I can open it. Okay, that's what that does. Beautiful. All right. Even as a dungeon master, I have everything printed out. I have all my miniatures. I have everything right in front of me where I can touch it, move it, grab it, look at it however I need to. And I don't have to go scanning through things. I think that's, like I said, technology is a wonderful thing, but there's nothing like hands-on. All right. Anyway, so I'm not going to keep you much longer today because we have that unique game coming in that's going to be played today. It's a wonderful thing. But the Warband, the Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen. The booster box is out. I opened one up for you. You see the dice. And as always, may the roll rise up to meet your feet. And may all your adventures be successful. I will see you next Friday. And we're going to wrap up. This is where we're going to wrap up the entire month of player character. And there is a lot to it. Okay. And there'll be another time when I talk about more evolved and more complex concepts of how to put characters together, because there's a billion of them. There's probably as many as there are dungeon masters and as there are players. So bear that in mind. But other than that, I will see you next Friday here at the Collective on John's Dungeon Corner. Take care.